you're doing okay. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's feeling well. And I hope that everybody's having a decent day. Um, I was thinking of maybe turning this channel into a parody channel where I look for people around YouTube or even famous celebrities or whatever, and I try and do my impression of them. That might actually be pretty good. It's going to be like a parody channel. It's still going to be Arizona Cool Style, but I think I'm going to start doing parodies and see, just to see how that goes and all that. But anyway, I know there's a lot of things going on YouTube at the moment. But I'm going to do one thing, and one thing only. And you know what I'm going to do? Nothing. And you know what I'm going to say? Nothing. Because nothing really needs to be said. Nothing really needs to be done. And the reason why is because I don't want to cause more headache for myself. And I don't get involved with drama bullshit. So, if someone's going to act up and act the fool, well, let them act up and act the fool. They're just going to, they're just going to reap their own benefits. They're going to reap their own consequences later. It's perfectly fine, I don't condemn anything like that, and I don't condone it. I just leave it alone. Because it's not my business. Personally, I care about a lot of people. I do. But there are just... Can't explain it. It's just there are some people out there that... Seems like they just never learn, dude. They never stop. They never quit. They just repeat the same shit over and over and over again. And it's sad. Sad. But, I'm out here enjoying my doggies. Enjoying my life, And, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just disappointed. Could have gone better. It could have been better, but, you know, it was sad. The only thing I pray is one thing, and one thing only, is that I pray that some resolution is found. I pray that some common ground is established to where both parties, can just say, look, I was wrong saying that stuff about you, and you were wrong saying that stuff about me. Let's let bygones be bygones, and let's move on in a peaceful way. Because, the most powerful one in the room is not always the one that's the loudest. It's not always the one that speaks up on everything. The most powerful person in the room sometimes is the one that stays quiet, the one that stays silent. That's the one that's the most dangerous one. Not the one that yells and screams, hoots and hollers and does all that. No. The one that's quiet. The one that's controlled. The one that's, should I say, calculated. Those are the people that you should be afraid of. Not the ones that shoot their mouth off and spill out this and spill out that and say this and say that. Nah. Those are people that are easy to figure out. Those are people that are easy to, deal with. But I'm talking about the real people. The ones that listen to everything. Put up with everything. And yet they don't say a word. They say nothing. They say nothing. They just sit there and they listen and they watch and they wait and they listen and they watch and they wait. Then, when people think that, oh, this man is defeated, he's not going to do anything, then, when they least expect it, all of a sudden, blammo, out it comes. And you didn't even know what was about to happen or what was about to hit. Because the man stayed silent. The man stayed quiet. The man stayed calculated. But he watched. He listened. Everything. I'm going to tell you a story about, it's actually a true story. Okay. It's a story about now I just watched a video about a karate expert. Okay? He was a karate expert. Big time. Knew about the martial arts. Knew about all that kind of stuff, right? But he, unfortunately, had to go to prison because of something that he did. Something that happened. Something that he got caught up in and wasn't supposed to be that way. But anyway, he goes to prison, right? And, his main goal was just to serve out his time and, be done with it. Well, there was this prison bully, if you will, he was literally, brought up in prison. Prison life is all he knew how to do, and violence was the only thing that he knew how to dispense. And so, but the guy loved to pick on people. He loved to berate people. He loved to make people feel less than, what they are. And so, the guy sees the gentleman that was a karate expert, sees him, and naturally he says, "Oh, fresh meat." So he starts picking on him. Every day starts picking on him. And the guy sat there and he took it. And he took it. And he took it. And he took it. Until finally he had enough. Finally he said, "That's it." And then he fought back. And as soon as he fought back, people didn't expect the way he fought. He didn't haul off and just destroy the hell out of them or anything. He did everything calm, cool, and calculated. So, when all the smoke cleared, when everything had stopped, they asked him, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?" And he in turn said, "I didn't do it to prove that I was, the world's most badass person in the world. No. I didn't do it to prove anything or to change anything. I did it to prove a point that not everything can be got with violence. Not everything can be got with negativity. You know, when somebody's attacking you, especially when somebody's attacking you on the internet, and they're saying shit about you or saying shit about your family, they do it because they want a reaction out of you. They do it because they want a response out of you. They do it because they want something out of you. And when they get it, they're sitting there back behind the screen laughing at how triggered you got, how much of a reaction they got out of you. And therefore, it just makes you look bad, not them. Because they're used to it. They're used to the prison violence. They're used to talking shit. You know, it's what they do. And when people make other people less than themselves, you know, it's just, I don't know, I can't. Hold on a minute. I just don't understand it, you know? I really don't. You know, nobody has any right. Nobody. Don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. You know, no living human being has any right to talk about somebody's family or somebody's living conditions or somebody's sexual preferences or anything like that. Family should be off limits to anybody. Period, point blank. There shouldn't be any excuse for that. You know, anybody that talks about family, you know, I don't know, that's wrong. It's wrong talking about somebody's family. You know, it is. I find it wrong. You know, just like when people were going at me, talking shit on my family, talking shit on me. Did I really go at their family? Did I really go at them like they went at me? No, I didn't. Because why? I'm not better than them. I'm not worse than them. I'm just more controlled than they will ever be. I'm more calculated than they will ever be. I'm more organized than they will ever be. And I'm more mature than they will ever be. Because a true, mature mind doesn't need to wrestle for validation. A true mind doesn't need to wrestle for acknowledgement or strive to get even with people. A true, mature mind decides to say, you know what? They're going to say what they're going to say no matter what, because it's what they chose to do. And we all have that choice too, to either respond to their bullshit, or say, you know what? Enough is enough. They don't deserve my response. They don't deserve my attention. They don't deserve my air that comes out of my mouth. They don't deserve it. Because real, true, mature people, real, true people that are secure with their lives and secure with who they are, they don't even pay no attention to people that talk shit or people that act that way. They don't even need to waste their breath. They don't. You know? You know, people act really unreasonable about things that are said on the fucking internet. When you could easily, you know what? For the people you don't like and don't want to see on the internet, they've got this little button called chat block. You could chat block them. And once you chat block them, you don't even see their comments anymore. You don't even know anything that they've said or done to get your attention. Because if they're so desperate to get your attention that way, if they're so desperate to get to you that way, then they must really like you. Because why on earth would they want to go why on earth would they want to go to these sick, vile, disgusting lengths for no reason? They do it for a reason. Because they want your attention. They want you to give them acknowledgement so that they could say they won, and continue to do it. Simple as that. People talk shit on the internet all the time. It's what they do. But you don't have to be participating in it. You don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to be contributing to the problem when you could be a part of the solution by just ignoring these people. Yes, they do try and tick you off. Yes, they'll try and mentally tear you apart. Because it's what they do to get a response out of you. They could have a million reasons why they do what they do. They could have a million reasons why they say what they say. But is it right? No. It's not. None of it's right. Talking crap on somebody, I can understand, you know, hang on a second, let me get this done real quick. Trying to kind of clean up the yard, talk to you guys at the same time, so. And there's a lot of shit out today. Jesus Christ. Damn. Fuck, that's a lot of poop. Okay. But like I said, you know, we're all guilty of talking shit in some form or another. It's how you respond to it, how you react to it, how you deal with it in your own mind. That's the main thing. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with when somebody insults you? Do you come back with the same insult? Or do you say, you know what? Hold on a minute. Baby. Hold on, I gotta play with my dogs for a little bit. I'll be right back. But anyway, I had to play with my dogs for a little bit. It was fun. They're just getting all fired up. They're playing with each other. It sounds like they're tearing each other apart, but they're not. They're just playing. They just play. And trust me, they've done this. What they do to each other right now, like that. Done this ever since they were little tiny squirts together. So yeah. But anyway, like I said, a lot of people talk about a lot of different things. And when someone's talking shit on you, they're actually testing you. They're testing you to see what truly type of a person you are. Are you the type of person that responds at the drop of a hat? Or are you the type of person that says, you know what? They're not even worth my time, dude. You know, the best way to get rid of a shit talker is to ignore them. That's my advice. Is just a plain flat ignore them. Because ignoring somebody is the best way to do it. Because when you ignore them, you cut their energy off. You cut their feeding tube off. That means when you ignore them, they have nothing more to throw at you. They have nothing more to say about you. They have nothing more to say to you. Because it's gone. And that's why, I was watching a video and one guy says, you know what? One guy was like, here's what it is. Sometimes having a mature mind, sometimes that means being alone. Sometimes that means doing things alone. Because it's like trying to be calm in the middle of a war zone. And I do have one last one. Now, this is going to be a response. Okay? So you guys might want to brace yourself for this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to, I'm going to put that back in my pocket. Because I know that if I do respond to something like that, it's just going to encourage more. And I would rather excourage it than encourage it. I'd rather stop it at the source and just I'm not gonna respond. Because if I do, it's just gonna make matters worse rather than better. So it's best if I just stayed out of it and let it play itself out, because like I said, yeah, it's good to white knight for people. But at the same time, sometimes, it'd have been better to keep your mouth shut rather than opening it, because the minute that you open it, you seem to be making it worse rather than better. And, I love people on here. I do. I love a lot of people on here. But I can't be there to respond to every little thing there is out there. I can't do it. Because I know if I was to respond, okay, the person that I responded about, well, they're not only going to have to worry about me, but they're going to have to worry about themselves too, even more. And I'm not going to add to it. I'd rather de-escalate than escalate the problem. And this is my way of handling it. I really wish I could say what I really want to say, but I'm afraid of the repercussions of it when I do say it. That's the problem. Damn it. You stony tuck. But that's the only reason why I don't respond, guys. I know I'm getting tempted to respond. I know I'm getting tempted to react. But I know if I do, it's just going to cause more trouble. Not for me, but for the other people involved. And I don't want to do that to them. They're far more important to me than anyone realizes. And I don't want to hurt nobody. And I don't want to cause nobody grief. It's not my way. It's not who I am. And if people don't like that and people don't appreciate it, then they don't have to. But it's just, I'm doing everybody a favor by keeping my opinions reserved. Because right now, there's some stuff going on, and if I was to respond to it, then that would just contribute to the problem and make it worse, rather than making it better by letting it just die off on its own. Don't give it any more energy. Don't give it any more fuel. Just let it just die away. Okay, hold on a minute. Is this thing even on public? I don't even know. Because nobody has been in the chat, and I've been on here for about almost 40 minutes. And not a damn person has been in here. Jesus. You would think somebody was in here somewhere. What the fuck? This is like the deadest it's ever been. What the shit? It's a Monday morning, and wow, this place is dead, dude. God damn. Nah, this has got to be on private or something. I wish I could. Hold on, I got to look it up to see if it's on public. It's got to be on public. Has to be on public somewhere. No, it's on public. No, it's on public. Yeah, I'm looking at my own stream. Okay, it says one person watching. And on, oh, now it says it. Okay, then if I click off, will it still say that? It'll probably go back down to 0 now. Unless I legitimately got one person in here. Wow, I got one person in here? For real? Nope. I guess today is just a dead day, dude. Which I don't mind. That doesn't really matter to me. No, it doesn't. But like I said, I love everybody and I do people favors by just not responding and not participating in the bullshit. I'm not going to do that. I wanted to so bad. I wanted to make a response. I wanted to do this, wanted to do that, but I know that wouldn't be right. Because that would hurt a lot more people than just me. And I don't want to do that. I don't intend to hurt anybody. I don't intend to make people feel bad. You know, I don't intend to do that. It's not my intention. And you know what I find funny? Because I've chosen this type of, this different type of thinking, this different type of lifestyle. That's why I get next to no one in the chat. Which is fine. Because this is the kind of atmosphere I'm used to anyway. You know, with channels like this, I don't care if they grow. I don't care, whatever. You know. I just like to say what I need to say and say how I feel. I'm still going to keep my non-biased attitude. I'm not going to take one side or the other. Because in the game of talking trash, both sides are guilty, not just one. Because think about it. One side talks about this, talks about that. Then the other side comes in, talks about this, talks about that. Then the other side responds to this, responds to that. Then the other side, it's just a never-ending battle of bullshit. Never-ending circle of just pure hatred is what it is. Because it never ends. Because people will always be keeping responsive to that. They will always keep responding. They will always keep going on that. It's the endless cycle of misfortune. And it just keeps going around and around and around like a Ferris wheel. And it's really sad. You know, there's all kinds of problems in the world, all kinds of stuff going on in the world. And a lot of places on YouTube, it's not much different. Everybody has their drama. Everybody has their bullshit. But you know what I don't approve of, and I've said this dozens of times, and this doesn't go just for one or two people. This goes for everybody on this platform, period. Family and personal life should never be mentioned on here. Should never be talked about. Should never be made fun of. Because all of us have people that are precious to us, that are important to us, that mean something to us. And when they're being talked about and being maliciously bashed on a public forum, it gets us triggered, it gets us angry. But at the same time, here's what the mature thing is to do. You got to learn when to respond and when to stay quiet, when to react and when to sit down. You've got to learn to control your actions and control your form and control yourself. Always remember, stay calm, stay focused, and stay controlled in any situation. And therefore, nobody could get to you. Nobody could hurt you. Nobody can make fun of you. No one could even touch you, period. Because you don't let them do it. You don't let them hurt you. You don't let them make fun of you. You don't let them destroy you. And you know how you do it? You do something called ignoring them. You unsubscribe to their channel. You unsubscribe to their bullshit. You chat block them everywhere. So therefore, they can't say anything. They can't do anything. If you take away their power, they have nothing over you. You see, when you respond to somebody, when you react to what somebody's saying or doing online, you're giving up your power. You're giving up your right to ignore. You're giving them ownership over you by responding. And once you don't respond, once you don't react, once you don't say a thing, then that's when the power goes right back to you and stays with you. All of us have the power to do whatever we want with our lives. Whether we believe it or not, we do have power. We do have strength that is unprecedented, that's untold of. I want you guys to take an example. Look at all these public figures that are out there. Every last one of them. Look at how many times they get bashed, how many times they get degraded, how many times they get reduced to a pile of shit. But do they respond to all that? Do they Do they react to every single comment? Do they respond to every single thing that people saying? No, they don't. Half the shit that they, you know, even get, they freaking ignore. Because it's like, why bother responding to this idiot when it's not going to change the way they feel about you? It's not going to change the way they, you know, they react about you. You know, it's like getting into a bar fight. You could punch somebody in the face, punch somebody in the face, punch them in the face, punch them in the face, punch them in the face, but they're still going to hate you and talk shit on you, no matter what. They're still going to. It's like, if someone's going to hate you, they're going to hate you. If someone's going to like you, they're going to like you. You know, it's just part of the cycle, man. And my advice to everybody, and I know I'm not no Rhodes Scholar. I'm not no perfect person in the world. But my advice to people is, you know what? You know the main person that you need to learn to control is yourself and how you respond to the people in the world. Because if you have pride in yourself and pride in who you are as a person, nobody can touch you. Nobody can hurt you. And nobody can make you feel less than unless you allow it. Period. And that's what you call an old man's advice. Just advice. Because people, you know, you guys are worth more than you realize. You guys are more understanding than you guys give yourselves credit for. You guys are all beautiful people, capable of wonderful things. And it's a shame the way some of you people treat each other on here when it's not necessary. You know, the best thing to do is when you have a problem with each other, the best thing to do is ignore and walk away. At least that's my opinion on it. Anyway, I'm going to go head out, so you guys take care, much love, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace, and as usual, thank you for watching. Later, guys.